The Grant County Courthouse in Virginia sat in silence at 6:37 a.m. Its corridors echoed with Maya Jefferson's boots. She was early, as always. A Marine Corps veteran, Maya's dreadlocks framed a face carved from endurance. She wasn't there by mistake. She had authorization. She belonged. She entered the courtroom and sat in the front row, folder in hand. The cold wood beneath her felt familiar. She was reviewing documents when the door creaked open. What the hell is this? Officer Travis Cole, white, cocky, and careless, stood in the doorway. His eyes narrowed, his hand resting near his gun like a habit. "I'm authorized to be here," Maya answered calm. Cole laughed. "Authorized? You think we let black women roam courtrooms alone?" He shut the door behind him with a deliberate click. "Today must be my lucky day. Just me and a lost little black girl." Maya didn't respond. She didn't look at him. She remained still, regal, composed. Cole walked closer, sneering. "Where are you hiding that hair, huh? Contraband? A weapon?" He moved to a drawer and retrieved electric clippers. "Let's see what's underneath." He flipped the switch. The buzz cut through the silence. Then, without warning, he grabbed Maya's neck and began shearing her dreadlocks. The first clump hit the floor. Then another. Maya didn't scream, didn't resist. She simply stood there, unmoving. But a single tear betrayed her. Cole grinned. "There it is. I knew you'd break. Always do. You people just wear costumes." Deep down, still to help. When he finished, he threw the clippers aside like trash. "Pick it up," he said. "All of it. Or I'll slap you with resisting arrest, or whatever the hell I feel like today. Around here, I don't need a reason." Maya stared ahead. Then she knelt. With trembling fingers, she collected her own hair. The same dreadlocks that had once marched beside soldiers, stood in formation, survived battle. Now she placed them one by one onto a crumpled piece of paper. "Good girl," Cole whispered, almost with pleasure. "Stay down. That's where you belong." A lock slipped from her fingers and rolled under the bench. As she reached for it, her breath hitched. Not a sob, something deeper. A tremor from her chest, primal and raw. "If I could chain you, I would," Cole said. "This is close enough." Then the door opened. A young intern entered, followed by a secretary. Cole straightened immediately. Maya, still holding her hair, stood without a word and walked toward a side door. No one asked questions. They saw only what they were conditioned to see. Moments later, a message buzzed on the court clerk's phone. "Minor delay. Be ready in 5 minutes." He replied, "Understood, Your Honor." Inside the restroom, Maya closed the door and clutched the sink. Her scalp stung. Her chest burned. She rinsed her face with cold water, trying to wash away the memory, but the pain clung like ash. Her hands were steady as she folded a black handkerchief and tied it tightly around her head. Not to hide, but to prepare, she opened her briefcase and gently placed the dreadlocks inside. Then she breathed, straightened her blazer, and walked back toward the courtroom that in the hallway. She paused before the mirror. Her reflection stared back like a stranger. Red eyes, bruised pride, but beneath the pain, fire. A fire that hadn't burned this brightly since her deployment overseas. She pressed 2 fingers against her temple, recalling every drill, every trial, every war zone that didn't break her. And this wouldn't either. When the side door creaked open again, the air shifted. The room turned. Maya entered. Not as the woman who had been humiliated, but as something else. Her steps were measured. Her face was unreadable. Her robe flowed with quiet command. And every eye followed her, all but one. That Officer Cole froze, recognition slowly dawning on his face. His lips parted, but no words came out. He blinked, hoping the illusion would break. She didn't look at him. She walked past him, climbed the bench, opened her folder, and took the gavel. "Good morning, Your Honor," the clerk said with respect. Maya nodded once. She struck the gavel. "This session is now." And then the courtroom remained still even after the gavel struck. Cole had been led away, but his presence still lingered like smoke. The bailiffs returned to their posts. The clerk reset the monitor, and Judge Maya Jefferson, still standing, took a slow, measured breath. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of restraint. Across the room, a woman in uniform rose quietly. Sergeant Denise Morales, the very name on the case file. She approached the bench. "Your Honor," she said softly, "I never imagined justice would look like this." Maya gave a faint nod. "Neither did I." Reporters waited outside, hungry for quotes, drama, headlines. Maya didn't stop. She passed them in silence, not shielding her head this time, not flinching from the flashes. Her steps were slow, heavy, but unbroken. She walked to her car and sat in the driver's seat, locking the doors. The courthouse loomed behind her like a shadow of what it used to be. Her hands gripped the wheel. Only then did the tears come. 2 hours later, a knock came at her office door. "Come in," Maya said, her voice hoarse but steady. To IT was Prosecutor Aaron Blake, folder in hand. "You should see this." Inside were 3 more complaints, signed, notarized, and with attached footage. Other officers, other victims. One from a janitor who had been shoved and spat on. Another from a teenager detained without cause. And one from an elderly man with a Purple Heart. They were all scared, Aaron explained. But after what happened today, they believe again. Maya took a long look at the files. Her fingers traced the paper edges like she was touching someone's skin. File them. Open the cases. One by one. The following week, the Department of Justice launched an internal review. The Grant Police Department's leadership changed. Officers who had enabled abuse were put on leave. A federal task force was assigned to audit cases over the last 5 years. Maya returned to her bench every morning. Without a wig, without a hat, her bald head became a quiet symbol, not of shame, but of survival, of standing even when others kneel. Letters began arriving. From strangers, survivors, parents, veterans, people who had no voice until they saw hers. She read them all. One morning, she received a call from Washington. The President's Advisory Board on Justice Reform wanted her to join as a senior consultant. She declined. "I'm needed here," she said. "Real justice isn't built from the top. It starts with the people." 3 months passed. The courtroom now had new protocols. Body cams for all officers entering the premises. Anonymous reporting systems. And a banner just above the gallery. Justice must see all, not just the loudest. Then came an unexpected visitor. He entered quietly during recess. No uniform, no badge. Just a man in a plain suit. Gray hair, weathered face, a limp. Judge Maya looked up. Recognition sparked. "Mr. Raymond?" He smiled faintly. "You may not remember, but 20 years ago, you stood outside this courthouse holding a sign. Said you wanted to join the Navy." "I remember," Maya whispered. "You were the recruiter. You said you wanted to be more than what they saw you as. You already were. I'm proud of what you've done." They shook hands. No cameras, no press. Just a quiet circle of time closing in. That night, Maya sat on her balcony, overlooking the Richmond skyline. A soft breeze tugged at the curtain behind her. She held a photo. Her in uniform, her mother beside her, dreadlocks tied high. She smiled. The next morning, she arrived early. Courtroom 2, a high-profile case. She adjusted her robe, stepped in, and took her place. The crowd stood. Not out of obligation, but out of reverence. When the defendant tried to challenge the court's fairness, Maya leaned forward. "This courtroom is not here to protect feelings. It exists to protect rights. Sit down." Her voice cut through the air, measured, respectful, ironclad. Outside, a little girl clutched her mother's hand. "Is that the lady from the news?" "Yes, baby," the mother said softly. "That's Judge Maya. She made them see us." The girl smiled, eyes wide. "I want to be like her." Inside the courtroom, the session began. Justice didn't roar. IT didn't shout. It stood quiet and unshaken, wrapped in black robes, with a shaved head and a past that refused to be erased. And the world kept watching.